Okay, Lily, you're gonna kill me. I forgot to start the recording for the intro music. Yeah, I knew you guys could hear me. I was just working on. But thank you for the update. I always appreciate the updates. Let me get everything squared away here. There we go. Okay, sweet. Yeah. So anyway, I am not necessarily trying anything new with the background tonight. Well, I'm always trying something new, but this may not be a permanent change behind me. Somebody that watches fairly regularly, I think in replay maybe, but they said that, I mean, maybe it was one of you, I don't know, but they said that they actually liked that I would put the picture from the class so that they could see it, because it would help them know which class it was. But anyway, this is a class that I'm calling, Hey Nama. Let's see who's here. Lindsay, sweet. Jennifer's here. Claire. Oh, Lisa's here, sweet. Yeah, you got your replay in. I saw that comment. And then Mimi's here, sweet. Again, not to get heavy, but my thoughts are completely with everybody that is going through the building collapse situation in Surfside. My heart goes out to you. You don't even really have to have any sort of empathic ability to feel what those family members are going through right now. And, if you're the positive intention sort and the prayer sort, those things could be sent that way for sure. For everybody that's just waiting to hear, or for a glimmer of hope, and my heart really goes out to everyone there. It is a tragedy for our country, and maybe it turns out to be some miracle. I hope so. But however, my thoughts are with you. Carla's here, sweet. And Lindsay's here. I don't know if I mentioned that. Okay, sweet. Okay, so tonight's class, notes from my practice. This is really how I used to write Hoot Path all the time, which was probably after the first year or so. I really started to just sort of let my practice dictate what I would teach. And so tonight what I've got is a playlist, a loose playlist of songs from my practice today, and some things that I tried during my practice today and last week, when I wrote down in my thanks for the donation, whoever that was. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hop over and we're going to hit a couple of different things. Luisa, I'm glad you're watching, because we are going to talk a little bit about snake arms. Really inspired by your digging it and your video that you sent me, and all of that. So it's really been cool to watch that happen. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I guess one thing I should say is that if you're watching this for the first time, I don't normally have 12 cameras pointed at me, or 8 cameras, whatever we're at right now. But Tara could not make class tonight. She's fine. Everything is cool in the gang. She's completely fine. She just can't be here. And so because of if you know what OBS is, that's the software I use, and because of all the scene switchers I do, I have to keep her, or I like to keep her cameras on. So there's a bunch of extra camera angles tonight that we don't need, but trust me, normally they are focused on someone else. So I am ready to kind of jump in. The music is we're gonna start with music from my iTunes. I just trust my iTunes a little bit more sometimes oh man, I forgot about that. I don't know if you get, anyway, maybe I'll bring that up later. That was something I definitely wanted to talk about. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't done this before, I lead off every class with something called Sway. And sway is a freeform movement. You could be, oh no, there we go. You could be stretching, you could be moving with me. Some people like to go ahead and start hooping. Whatever it is that's cool for you, you can do, of course. So the sway sequence is going to be the funniest with in the room, but whatever. turn my oops. Oh well, I think you guys are gonna have to see the fourth wall there with the green screen. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. Jula the Quiet was raised, her prima madre, her first mother, was Ashwa the teacher. And for any of you that have ever been raised by a teacher, you could probably relate to Jula. Everything in Jula's life from Ashwa was a lesson. Sometimes it was a lesson in a question. Sometimes it was a lesson in a reflection. And sometimes it was a lesson with instruction. There was one time when Ashwa came to Jula to teach her. Jula was probably 9 or 10 years old. She said, I don't want to learn right now. And Ashwa said, that's fine, but I don't always come when you're ready. Ashwa, the teacher, told Jula the Quiet that she doesn't always wait to be invited in. And at the worst times, she can be there, asking Jula to learn from what she's going through. Not to do better, but to learn. Audible breath in. That story because I can relate to both. I know what it's like to feel as though you can't learn anymore. That you've been over the material so many times that there's nothing left to glean. Audible breath in. Open. Joshua saw learning as moving on. That to learn was to move on. It was to move on from the ignorance. It was to move on from simple arithmetic. That to learn was to move on. And to learn about oneself was to move on from some of the things of ourselves, of our past. Audible breath in. Okay. All right. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm without my love, Tara. She's not here tonight. And I know sometimes I say these things in sway, and I just want to make sure that they're not lost there. That if you want to understand the character of Ashwa, or the teacher, that, well, it's a big component of it to understand that, like, for Ashwa, and everybody's different, but to learn was to move on. So, like, you know, to learn a lesson over and over again was still a moving on. You know, you were gaining in this information. And so, like, when you are learning your hoop moves, sometimes it can help you to think about, like, well, the learning process is a moving on. I am moving through this. I am going to be better at this eventually, no matter how long it takes. Okay, I don't know how this is going to go. All right, so let me load up my my playlist here. All right, I have two of them. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Jennifer. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, I think this is the one I was going to play. Yeah, okay. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Kaia. I want to make sure I stay on track tonight and hit all the things that I said I was going to. And so we're going to move right into class. Let me know. The visual, everything should be okay tonight. If anything looks too weird or whatever, just let me know if it feels blocky or whatever. And I don't have that green screen on, which is driving me crazy, but whatever. Okay. Revisiting the story a little bit here. Actually, I'll just go ahead and... But in the story, Kaia, the warrior, has a dream. And in the dream, she wakes up in this threatening situation in a really dark room. It's really only threatening because it's completely black to her. It's completely dark. And when she goes to move her arms have turned into snakes. So this is our sort of launching off point for this technique. There we go. This is my really spooky Kaia snake music. But in the story, of course, Kaia freaks out because her arms have become snakes. But then she remembers something that Jula the Quiet told her. Yeah, right. Hey, Shannon. Sweet. YouTube is ultimately the hub, y'all, if you ever want to know. But in the story, Kaia, in the dream that she's in, she remembers what Jewel has said, and she remembers to breathe into it. And so as she breathes, her hands, she starts to feel, well, snake-like. And so rather than wanting to grip the hoop, right, which is cool, she wants to push the hoop. Do you see this sort of snaky motion there? Practice today, if you want to join me in this, what I was really getting into with Kaia, let me go ahead and I love that song. That's not the song that I was flowing to with this. It was this one. But where I was really starting to understand and or think about this sort of Kaia and the snake hands was in these traces and like setting a point, like picking the hoop up with an outside point here, like on my leg or something. If you're not sort of used to this technique or not, I can hold a point here and I trace down. Oh, I forgot to turn this on. I just realized I don't know if I have my close-up camera working right now, but I want to show you guys some of this stuff that I've been working with lately, but then also just working with for years now. And that is going back to this snake hands thing. And I don't know if you can tell, but like this is the hoop just sort of hanging on my hand, and this is if I push it this way and then push it this way, right? So it's here, sitting here, sitting here, sitting here. And then I am just going to like allow that sort of back and forth of my hand to create movement there. And then I can pass off to another point of contact and I can use that same sort of snaky motion again. Now, this is super geeky, right? I mean, everything I'm doing tonight is super geeky. That's how my practices go. But the thing is that what's really happening here, or for me what's happening is as boring as it might feel at some times, what's happening is my hands are developing a psycho sense of control with the hoop, right? And so what they're figuring out while I'm moving super slow, they can start to figure out when I'm moving really fast, right? So the reason I invoked Ashwa earlier, right, that teacher, is that sometimes we get like too caught up in like, what is this doing for me right now? I don't know if I had the music. Hopefully I wasn't peaking the speakers there. Then if I'm outside of it, which is what I was doing here, you see how I'm outside the hoop? You can do a lot of fun things too also, and this is what I'm always playing with being inside the hoop. Like right now, I'm inside the hoop, right? The hoop's just hanging there. But I'm using that same sort of snaky hand right here. And then I can just kind of like let it do whatever it wants to do. If it might get carried away, but I can pretty much let it bounce. And then once you start to get sort of a feel for this movement here, you can do some pretty cool, like sort of like penny reverses and things. One way to sort of reverse a penny fold or penny roll, whatever. Sweet, well, we only have 14 seconds of that. I'll add some more to it later. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm on track. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, if the quality of the video or anything like that starts to suck up too much. Just want to make sure I don't get the wrong one here. Right, okay. All right, so for this next one, what I wanted to talk a little bit about, this one was the gooiness, and what I wanted to sort of open you up to, and I'll just set this super quick setup, is like the gooey swing, which is when I am swinging the hoop out on purpose, right, just to kind of move. Like this would be a swing here. Okay, I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about, is when I sort of am moving from swing to gooey. If you're learning these type of, if you like this sort of thing, this is what I didn't plan on talking about this tonight, but one thing that you can do is to practice this skill here. This is when I am turning with the hoop. When the hoop's rolling onto my day, I'm holding it on the back of my hand, and then on night, it's back there. Right, and so what that helps me do is I can kind of boom, and then I can start to give it a little push. Boom. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Hold on. I don't want anybody to fall. So, basically, sweet. If I'm swinging out, I can come into one of the reasons that swing is an old school move, but one of the cool things about it is it stops the momentum, right? Right? So this would be like if I swung it out, but I didn't want to stop the momentum. But this would be a swing if I did, and I could swing into a fold or whatever there. Now what Jackie's talking about, and what I just tried to show you guys, is that this is technically, God, I don't know what you would call it, a stall, a barrel roll, stall, paddle, something like that. So I'm turning with it, right? You're gonna, whatever the hand is, that's the shoulder you'll lead with, and I'm gonna turn with it, boom, But where it really starts to happen, it's not something that you would really start there. It would be more like if I'm already in earth angle, I'm here, right? And I can bring up my hands and start to make 2 points of contact. And then if I turn with it, if I stall with my practice, boom. Right? And that's me, I don't know if you can see it in the camera work, but that's me stalling the hoop. As I'm barrel rolling, the hoop is, instead of going across my day or whatever, it's coming onto my hands. And the cool thing about that is I can give it a little push every time, right? And keep the hoop going. All right. But I really want to keep the music going. Because in my practice earlier today and in this week, I've just really gotten into this idea of just, even though it's like super simple and easy to do, I just really have gotten into this idea of a swing and then bringing it back in. This is a swing out, and then I can bring it back on. Oops. This is that move Jackie's talking about, I think. Again, swing the hoop out. Did that help? Okay, good. If it didn't, don't tell me anyway. I do care about it. So one aspect of this and I'll give you loads of flow time tonight, but or for each song I'll try to give you flow time, but just to connect all these sort of gooey swings and things, you can start to use that gooey swing to get up under the hoop, and then you can get involved in something we call tipping. And tipping is where you get up under the balance of a hoop with your hand or your body or whatever, and you intentionally tip it over, right? So this would be like if I was holding it here, I'm going to intentionally tip. So I'm going to intentionally let the hoop fall and then get up under it, right? And so I'll show you what the sort of more, first time sort of feel of that would be. So I'm out here, I'm swinging, and I might like swing up, just swing up and get up under the gooey, right? Or get up under the hoop and then just let it fall down on you. Swing out from here. I'll let the hoop just do what it wants to. See how I just let it fall? I'm gonna swing out, and I'm gonna try to get inside of it. Okay, so, for, I hope that's good. If you like rides, I guess it's great. If you don't like rides, it probably sucks. Okay, so, oh, hey, Sarah, how you doing? So, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about, make sure I check my notes here. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about linear isolations. Now, this is just more for sort of to explore a little bit here. Now, I'm not, despite this setup, there's certain limits to my nerddom, right? And, we all have them. And I can go probably nerdier than some people can on some things and whatever. One of the things that I do not go that nerdy about, which doesn't make me better or worse, it's just not where my interests lie, is in super tight isolations. Like, I've been hooping for 20 plus years now, so there's only so many things that, you you get into things, you get out of things. But for me, I've never like gotten past a certain point with these, but I did have a certain like sort of breakthrough moment with them when I realized that I just didn't really care how impressive they were. I just liked like how they felt to me. And so these are kind of swing type point isolations or whatever, but they don't really have to be done in point. Oh, sweet, Sharon. Welcome. You were missed. We're still going. We're still here. But anyway, this is me popping back and forth with a grip on it. And then, you know, for me, I was always trying to figure out how to move all the rest of my body. So when I'm in a sort of groove, like with these linear isolations, and this, what this next song does for me, puts me in that groove. But it can also just be fun to play with this plane a little bit. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about this in the next exercise. But you want to develop like your sense of touch with the hoop, right? To develop a sense of your cradle, right? And you can use spin and anti-spin to sort of work to help you develop that touch. But this is where I was going today, and for you old schoolers out there, you know, we did this for like a whole tour. But I'm doing thumb transfers and really letting my hand just sort of move around the hoop as I want to. But what I was doing today was really trying to make sure that I stayed in a certain plane, more or less. Well, that the hoop stayed in a consistent plane, that it was just this sort of bouncing wheel, right, that I was sort of turning and stuff, but I was moving around it more than it was moving around me. Things to know when you're working on swings and when you're working on rolls is just to be aware that there's a current there, that there's a current, that you're reacting to that. This is me getting up under it and then doing one of those gooey things. And then this is me using a little samurai grip on it where I'm gripping this more. To take the second portion of the song, since you're probably already doing this, but let's just add a little bit more. But this is me holding the hoop in, you know, a rotation. We call this bow. I'm just about to explain why we call it bow. But this is bow here. But one of the motions that you can play with is there's a lot to work with in bow, right? And there's a sort of anti-spin to bow side as well. And it can feel kind of funky. And you can come up and around, or I can go down and around. One side's going to be anti-spin, right? And then you just switch hands the moment you get tired, right? This is a swing out, and then back here. Ah, Bonnie's here. Hey, Bonnie. What I like about swing, though, is that it really gives you a lot of, glam potential, right? Like, because I can swing it out and get up under it. I could swing it out and pull it back, like, as fast as I can, right? I can swing it back and do the nemesis. Okay, all right, so we're going to take a break from that just for a second. Although I'm questioning my sequencing right now. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Actually, yeah, Yeah, okay, all right, so I think I'm actually going to change my flow, but we'll come back. Okay, so let's talk about the bow playing, okay? Because typically when we talk about, so in Hoop-Path, no, the language is totally screwed. I didn't know about the flow world when all this sort of came into being, and so I wasn't being contrarian. I just didn't know that there were already names for these things. So they sort of stuck, and so for me, this is my day, pain or whatever. This is if the hoop is in sun here, the hoop is in moon here, and then the hoop is in bow when it's here. And so when it is running like alongside bow. Now, the thing is that it's bow plane. So it doesn't really make sense. You would never shoot a bow like this, but you would shoot a bow like this, right? And so like this is me. I was pretending I was, I did take archery. So this would be me firing it away. So you see that plane does look like a bow, but here, not so much, right? And so it's the same plane. This is where it gets its name from, because the archers protected the Maidan, and so they honored them with this position, and they liked it. But this is where we usually operate with it, is on the inside and the outside, right? But sometimes just reminding yourself that this is where, that bow side could have been here, like more, right? And then you can open yourself to lots of different type of movements and archetypes and all that sort of stuff, right? And then I could pull out, boom, boom. So I'll give you a little bit more feedback on that, but so when we talk about bow position, it basically means, anything, whatever our orientation is, but it usually means it's running along the side. Now, we're not limited to that, and bow can move anywhere. But when we're talking about explorations in bow, they would look something like, well, this is what I was doing today. Like really choosing bow more as a place that I identify with, and maybe isolate from. Right? I love this track. in case you're wondering, the reason that hoopers and flow artists in particular, the reason that they name all these things, right, is so that you'll remember them. Nobody's thinking in their mind, oh, I'm on bow, I'm in, sun, moon, whatever. That's just how you learn it, right? You sort of learn the name. You kind of learn the name of a place just so you remember it in your consciousness, that you know that it's there, right? But, it's kind of like all authority. Hopefully, it instills its virtue and then it disappears, right? Same is true for your hoop terms and your hoop techniques, and it helps you if you just let go of the phraseology after a while, just let go of the name. All right, so this is my practice, and this is how much it hops over. So we're going to do one more exercise now. 1 second. All right, I don't know who's here and who's not here anymore. But if you're learning shoulder hooping and you can turn, I played the wrong song. But, all right, so this, that's too bad. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about tonight is that if you can turn with your hoop, if you can stall at all, if you don't get dizzy, you can, and you don't really have to even be turning, but you can start to learn how to hit specific points on the hoop, right? Like to hit certain points on the hoop. And what I mean by that is that like I can pass the hoop kind of like from my 6, which is my superside point, to my other 6, to my superside point there. And it's kind of hard, and I wish I hadn't played that song I just played, because that's the, the song it's going to use. But we'll find another. But I can move, if I'm turning, I can move from one point on my arm to another point on my arm, right? And I'll show you the bird's eye of this, so maybe this will help you. But, so what I'm doing right now, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of hard to look all the different places, but basically, I am letting the hoop hit from one hand, one arm to the other arm, and it is skipping most of the night and most of the day. Now, I have a big hoop. It's a 38. I'm 5'10". But if you can turn, especially if you can turn without getting dizzy, this is a great way for you to learn shoulder hooping. Right, if you really struggle with it, because a lot of times, people want to learn how to do it standing still. That makes a lot of sense. Sometimes you just have to sort of build the bridge slowly. All right. So I'm gonna, these notes from my practice classes are a lot easier to pull off in person. But this is me passing the hoop more or less just from one point on one arm to another point. Now the slower I get with this, nice, Nama. Yeah, right. Yeah, you will get dizzy, that's for sure. But I will tell you, Nama, if you, this is a specific advice to you. Okay, you can have it. It's on SoundCloud, actually. I've got it already. I'll post you the link, Bonnie. What I was going to say is that as you're making these passes, Nama, sometimes we want to send what I call the AM or the first tree. We want to send it in today. And what really needs to happen is it gets pulled back. So it's kind of the opposite of what you're learning, right? So it's like, this is me passing the hoop, like I'm going to the left right now, so my right is basically passing the hoop to my left, right? Now, if I want to shoulder hoop and stand still, then I have to pull my shoulder, or what helps is to pull my shoulder back. So instead of getting all out in front and day and hogging the space, I have to pull it back. And actually the pulling back of it will actually whip the hoop towards you. Like if I'm pushing back and if I'm like elbowing somebody behind me, that's kind of, so this is, I know I'm getting like super nerdy, but this is this. So this is if I'm going from point to point. And then this is what will be the technique that will one day, maybe, open up for you. It's the hardest for all dudes to get, but is to pull the shoulder back and really expose the chest. Oh, you're welcome, Carla. So this is carrying it, but then this is me pulling it back, right? See how open my chest is? Here we go. Now the moment that you start to, I don't want to get too caught up here, but the moment that you start to feel these points of contact where you can really bounce between them, then you can start to move with them, you can start to step with them, you can pull back away from them, and all these different kinds of things, And then just, for experienced hoopers, remember that the 2 point is kind of a gimmick, like or going from 1 point to 1 point is a gimmick, and anytime you need to bring the hoop back into a true plane, just add a little chest or add a little back and it'll whip right in, right? Put the little heart center back into it. But this 2 point thing is just kind of a technique that you can try, but if you do start to lose like actual piace with the hoop, if the hoop starts to go down, bring that back in. How's this music doing for you guys? I don't think anybody would expect that I would have a normal practice. But these are the type of things that I do, and these are the type of things that I like to do. For instance, like in my own practice, like yesterday when I was doing the 2 point, or going from, not 2 point, but when I'm bouncing from shoulder to shoulder like that, well then it's like, okay, what if it hits a shoulder and, right when it, like if I'm here, what if I bounce? What does that do, right? Or if, if I'm in this 2 point, what if I just stall it out? Again, if you, can stick with it and you get blessed long enough to get used to it. I used to get so dizzy. Got through most of the material that I wanted to get through. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to demo anything, but I know I talked a lot tonight, but I was trying to just share with you the things that I'm working on in my own practice that are keeping my practice going, sustaining it. If you're not sure how we got here, we started with snake hands. gooiness, where we were swinging the hoop out, but we were swinging it out so that we could kind of get up under it, fold it. Body roll it. Sweet tune. Lots of drop down. Sorry, Claire, don't hate me. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I appreciate you letting me have all the cameras. Okay, I want to play one more, and then I think we'll call it a night. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, by the way, Namaflow throws a Friday jam, online jam for anybody that's interested. I'm not paid to say this, but I absolutely love these thermoses. I feel so safe now as a hooper. Like, I never spill water anymore with this thermos if it's so cold. Realize what time it is, so we'll let this play out a little bit. I'm just going to keep hooping because I'm in the zone, but thank you guys so much for joining me. Let's see, our next class will be Thursday night. It'll be something technique-y probably. It's been a while since I've done a technique class, although this one kind of turned into one. Sweet. Anastasia, good to see you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, that actually, the cool thing about that move, Jackie, is that once you get that, and I think you already have it actually, but once you get it, that's what opens up directional paddles. Like once you get used to feeling the hoop kind of deaden on your hands, like, I don't know if you remember, like, directional paddles. It's like when I'm hitting the hoop, but I throw it down. Let's see, here we go. And then the reason that's so similar is that the moment you whip it into the you turn with the current, then you're in that barrel roll, right? So I'm here and I'm coming down. Oops. I'm here, boom, boom, and then boom, boom, boom. If that made sense, then we've been friends a long time. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Big love, everybody. Thank you so much. Luis, I love it when you can join us live. I know it's a struggle, but I really appreciate it. And thank you for your donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.